Welcome to Couple of J's podcast. I'm your host, PJ.
And MJ, I shot an adult scene when I was 18. My husband doesn't know, and I just found the video again on the internet. Should I tell him? 20 years ago, when I was 18 years old, I shot an adult scene, porn. I didn't intend to shoot the scene. I was going with my friend for support, and when she chickened out at the last minute, I stepped in and I did it. I regretted it immediately after and regretted it even more when I saw it on the internet. The video, which was about 30 minutes long, made its way around, mostly being shared on file sharing servers. This was post-Napstar, so there were a lot of knockoffs at the time. But after a while, the video seemed to disappear and nobody I knew ever found out about it. I met my husband a few years ago after I shot that scene and I never told him. I was ashamed and prayed that he would never find out. He never did, and we've been married for 15 years and have 2 children together. He is the love of my life, and he satisfies me in every way. I check frequently for that video that I made, and unfortunately, last week, I found it again on an adult site. It's one of the more popular sites, and I am now terrified that someone will find it. It could be someone that my husband works with or friend of my daughter's. I'm just terrified. My question is, should I finally come clean and tell my husband? I know that he won't leave me if I do. He knows I was rather promiscuous before we met, and he's been okay with all my crazy things I've done before him. But this is one of the things I never told him. It's the thing I'm most ashamed of, and I don't want him to ever see it. And that is what preventing me from telling him, because I don't want him to see it. There are many reasons for this. The biggest for me is that I don't want my husband to feel insecure. The man I shot the scene with had a very large penis. Oh my God! Oh my God. I'm sorry. This is crazy. And I made kind of a big deal about it when I shot the scene. No, this is crazy. My husband is a little above average in that area, but he isn't close to that guy. Oh my gosh. But none of the other guys I've ever been with were either. I've had the best sex of my life with my husband, and that's the truth. But I still feel like he may lose his confidence if he sees that video. So what do I do? Should I just roll the dice and pray he never finds it, or just come clean? Bruh. Whoa. Whoa. Like, wow. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's a shot to the ego. Like,
Oh!
all right, you did a porn, cool.
Oh!
But when he sees the big bazooka,
No.
it's over.
And she's making a big deal out of it. Oh! She's probably like, he ain't never seen her act like this before.
Never seen her act like that. Yo.
Jeez,
Wow.
when I tell you guys,
Let me just say
this can't be real.
Let me just say this. There's so many things wrong with this. So many things wrong with this. One, why the fuck did you guys not have this conversation in the beginning of your relationship way before marriage? Right? That's one. Mm-hmm. 2 is, why the fuck did you not tell this man that you shot a porn fucking video? That's so crazy to me. Like, I would after 15 years of marriage, I would be more upset about her not telling me this in the beginning than the actual like scene and stuff like that. Like, bro, I done married you, like.
I mean,
because now it's basically you're lying about your character or what kind of person you are.
No. Okay. So what I was going to say was she did say that they've had conversations about like her promiscuous, crazy life past. I just find it crazy. Listen, I just think that would be one of the things you talk about. But I think she was so ashamed of it. She was 18 years old. Your brain is a pea.
And he had the big bazooka.
He had the chalongadong. Okay.
And that was 20 years ago when she was 18 and is still bigger than her husband's now.
I mean, dick size don't change, babe. But I mean.
Yeah, dude. You get a little older, get a little thicker.
You're fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she told him.
Balls drop.
Listen. How old was that man in that video? I don't know. We don't know that information.
She was
but
18.
She was 18 though.
And then her kids, like, especially if she got boys, know they watching porn. Imagine coming across your mom
on Pornhub. I think he'll be like
yo, is that is that my mom, bro? That's crazy.
18 years old.
18.
I know what it's like being.
So what do you think
in your teens? And
what do you think is cause for, if he was to have an issue with this? What do you think is more cause for divorce? Her not telling him, or her actually doing a porn?
Well, she said that she knows that he won't divorce her, and I don't. The way that it sounds is that
he probably gonna be like, let me see.
Probably gonna be like, I feel like the ego. Would you? Mm-hmm. The ego would drop for sure. There might be some insecurity, some jealousy. I mean, like I said, or like she said, she's 18. Like, this shit wasn't, they've been together 15 years.
I want to go search this video.
But they don't leave no.
Yeah, no, they don't leave anything, but that's crazy.
Oh my gosh. So in this type of situation, you said you would want to see, but how would you take that? Like, if I came to you like, listen, or just say this, right? We all do things, crazy things, things that we regret.
Yeah,
especially when you're young. Like, that's why I say 18. I could see 18-year-olds.
I could see you coming up to me 10 years from now and talk about you shot a porn.
I could see myself doing that. Seriously. No. Because when you're
a liar. You're the biggest lie I know.
What, telling you? No, but me doing something like...
You did take a couple months to tell me something.
It wasn't like crazy like that. She
tried to make me fall in love and then hit me with the look. Well, listen. Hey, guys.
Hey. No, so if I said, yo, I shot, or even like this, I shot a video with somebody. I was 18 years old, super young. And he ended up putting that out or something. Or it just got out there. Now, that's a little different, but how would you take that? If it wasn't, how would you take that?
What was the question? I'm sorry. Because I'm still running things in my brain.
So say it was kind of something like this, but instead of doing like a whole actual porn video, maybe I come to you like, listen, I did a sex video or sex tape with someone that I was dealing with at the time.
That's different.
And he ended up exposing.
I think everybody
kind of like.
First of all, it being on Napster, that's crazy.
I don't even know what the fuck Napster is.
Yeah, it's way before your time. It's a millennial thing.
Well, Pornhub?
Yeah, so before there was streaming, there was Napster.
And they do crazy stuff on there?
Illegal downloading video. Like, we would download the basically the URL on a website. Mm-hmm. It was an illegal website. So that's how we got music.
Yeah.
Because before music, there was like no Apple streaming. We had to buy CDs and stuff in order to listen to music.
This is just so crazy.
Or cassette tapes. So when the internet came, there was a thing called Napster, and we could just search like certain porn videos or certain musics or certain movies.
I think you did tell me about the music streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah, we would download it into our computer and then watch it from there or whatever. But yeah, that just dates back to.
But like, what if? But what I'm saying is like, what if that video came out and I'm like, oh my god, this is what just happened.
So there's a difference because she knew that it's on a porn site, and so it was shot for a porn scene,
right?
And that's more intentional than just like me and you creating a sex tape and we're kids and it leaked on the internet by accident.
Or you leaked it.
Yeah.
Kim K type shit.
Yeah.
Would you be upset or what would or like even if people?
I wouldn't be as upset because it's just like that is what it is. Like with the whole.
You had no control over that.
Yeah, you had no control, but you're intentionally exploiting yourself to the internet.
That's what's so crazy to me. How
and then you don't tell me about this, and then when you do tell me, we're already married, 15 years in with 2 children. That's rough. Like I would be like, you married me. Well, why wouldn't you tell me all the things that I needed to know before marrying you?
Is that a cause of divorce for you?
No, it's not a cause of divorce.
No.
Nah, I would just be like, let me see.
You nasty bitch.
You're a nasty whore.
You're a cheater different in the bedroom.
Yeah, I'll just be like, you're a nasty whore.
I married a whore.
Yeah. And I would never let you live it down. I'd be reminding you every day.
She already regrets that shit. That's
yeah.
I mean, I see where like the word one you regretted it, but I see where the worries come from when you talk about like your children's friends seeing it or just like.
Well, she's 18. This was years and years prior, so she probably doesn't look the same. So
and that's what I was thinking too. They probably won't recognize but who knows?
But Jesus, boy, does your past come back to haunt you.
Oh no, it does.
Yeah. Hold on. Is there anything that you have to tell me right now?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, for the whole world to just see. Yeah.
Okay, put it on the pod. Put it on the pod.
Never that. No, nothing that should ever not like this.
Oh, okay. So is this considered a lie? Is this considered her lying to him because she didn't tell him, even though it was there?
I don't consider this being a lie. I consider something being a lie if your partner asks about something like, oh, have you ever done something super crazy that you regret? And you're like, oh no. Or if you're just like,
but I'm sure that conversation has come up before.
But we don't know that.
If he knows she was promiscuous, he had to have asked, well, you ever did anything wild? I've asked you that. Like, you ever did anything wild? And if the first thing that doesn't come to your mind isn't that porn video, you lied. You lied. You're a liar.
That I would kind
of me.
I kind of consider, yes, I would consider that lying. Or if you like flat out ask that question, like, have you ever had made a tape, or ever made a porn video?
Because I made sex tapes, like with my partner, but it was
at the time.
Yeah. It was for us. It wasn't for anything else.
Right.
Like,
but if you did that for the internet, I mean, I feel like personally, I just don't know what I would do in this type of situation.
If I was a porn star, you would want to know.
I wouldn't be with a porn star.
But exactly. You would want to know.
Of course.
Or if I made a porn, you're going to be like, that's a character flaw. Like you
think so?
Yeah. For sure, 1,000%.
A mistake that would never happen again?
It's not a mistake. In that description, she said it was for her friend. Instead, she went and did it. That's not a mistake. You intentionally went and put yourself on the internet.
What if she was peer pressured?
She wasn't. Her friend easily said no, and her friend is the one who signed up to do it. There was no peer pressure for her friend.
She was just... My excuse is that I'm young and I'm only bitch. I'm
listen, and you live. That's why I said
she was on one.
It's not reason enough for divorce, but it would make me question what else has she done. I'd be like, yo, what else? Like what?
And then that's when you could have that open talk. I mean, forever with the person is such a long time, man. If you find out my real age 15 years later, surprise, spice it up.
See, I have a problem with this because, like I said, MJ tried to make me fall in love with her before she told me about her traumas.
No,
and now I'm like, okay.
And I didn't even know it was
committed to you. Is this big deal enough? So this is why you relate. It's not a lie. No, it's a lie.
Because so obviously I'm not gonna get into depth about it, but like you talk about things and you become vulnerable with your partner or the person that you are dating at the time. That's what I was doing. And I'm like, yeah, so just talking about it like it's nothing. And then he's all like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what? What happened? All right. So I didn't even know it was like, something as serious as he definitely made it.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, when that whole situation happened, it wasn't like I felt like I lied to you. It was just like, it wasn't my time to tell you. I'm in a vulnerable space with you right now, and I'm telling you now. Whether you cuffed it already.
Well, at least you didn't wait 15 years.
well.
At least you didn't wait 15 years.
But that was just...
I could be appreciative of that.
That was just my idea of it. Was just like, well, because he definitely thought, because I didn't say something in the beginning, that it was lying. But for me, my whole perception about... being vulnerable or telling people your deepest, darkest secrets, that's not something you say when you're dating. That's not something you bring out right away.
Or is it?
I don't think so. And even after that, you would think that I've like probably opened up my mind to be like, okay, if me and you weren't to work out and I was to go out and date again, would I change this? And I had to ask myself, would I change this? Would I go into my dating life like being very upfront when I feel comfortable with someone, or will I do the same way I've done with you? Hold 1 second now. 1 second, all right?
Go ahead, go off, sis.
And my answer to my own question was no. I still will not go up front with what my situation. I would first want to feel very comfortable with you, and I would probably say it in a way where it's like I am being honest, and I'm being a little bit more vulnerable about it, but probably not like how I came at it with you, just in a way where it's like, here's a little bit of sprinkles. Right. So you have an idea, but just enough so you have an idea, but not like completely like blinded by it. Because I wouldn't want someone to feel the way that you did, but I also want to make sure that I'm comfortable and that I'm ready too, because it's not your story, it's my story.
Right.
So whether you felt like that was betrayal or that was dishonest, I still feel like in any situation I would not come out front to people and everyone that I feel comfortable with about my story.
But I think there's a difference between like dating and then being with someone. When you're dating, I don't think that everything has to be said or told. Like certain things first in the beginning, like you're dating, you're trying to figure out this person's character, who they are. So before you let them into your personal space, yes, you don't become the most vulnerable. But once you guys are together and you're established,
you mean like actually boyfriend and girlfriend?
Do I want to be with you? Do you want to be with me? Okay, we're together. We're gonna pursue this life together. I feel like I've been able to see you for who you are enough up until this point, right? I think then is when you're supposed to tell your vulnerabilities and tell the things that you think that may affect your relationship.
I think at the time too,
during the dating, like I'm not telling everybody my personal life. I'm just not. I gotta feel you out. I gotta see what kind of person you are. I gotta see if this is just gonna be like a little fling or whatever, or if you're gonna ghost me or whatever. Like you just never know. But once you're my girl, like I think these conversations, like if you did a porn video before in your life, I need to know this because you're now my girl, and girl's gonna lead into marriage and all that other stuff.
Could lead to that, right? But I think with
that's the goal, isn't it? Like
yes, but I think with you at the time, you weren't thinking like what you just said. You were thinking like you should have told me this before we even got into a relationship.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Because we were in a relationship.
You're like, bro, I wouldn't have come there.
No, we were together within a month, and your situation that's
very early though.
Nah, yeah, your situation is very different.
Yeah,
it's.
But even what about
trauma response?
Yeah,
right. So like it's for me, it was just like
you have to take a step back and look at the whole situation, which I completely understand.
Without like I can't say too much, but. Yeah, it's a very different situation, but something like a porn tape that you intentionally made for the internet, for a porn site, yeah, I need to know this. I need to know if I'm marrying a whore.
But you do think it's lying if you don't bring this up?
I absolutely think it's equivalent to lying. I don't think it's the definition of lying, but I do think it is the equivalent to lying.
Now it's the equivalent.
Well, because a lie is something that's you're if I went and had sex with your cousin and I told you I didn't, that's a lie, right? But not saying nothing completely and hiding something is not considered a lie. It's just considered not being told, which those two, if they have an effect on your relationship, it's the equivalency. Like I'm going to get just as mad as you telling me a lie as you not telling me at all. Like my emotional response is gonna be the same for me. You know what I'm saying? So I do equate the two, but
and I could say I don't really equate the two that much, because if you told me something that happened to
because you're trying to justify your behavior.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
Because I know damn well if I had something that I needed to tell you and didn't tell you, you would be just as mad. As if I lied about something. So let's cut it out.
You could be upset, but it doesn't mean
you're trying to justify your behavior.
No, because we know what's up. We know what's up. But I just don't think. Of course, I could be upset about it, but I don't know if I would label it as like this man lied to me.
I don't know.
You're so cute.
I would feel like it's a lie. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know you would. Ooh, hold on. But and then that we were also talking about. So we seen this video, and about what was it about again? It was this crazy story. Do you remember what I forgot?
What it was about?
Yeah.
What I just showed you?
Yeah.
The 23-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, so there was this it wasn't a video, it was a TikTok, and they kind of do like the equivalency of what we do. It was a Reddit story, and it was about a guy who was dating this girl who actually just got was with her for a long time. She had just gotten pregnant, and after a while of her pregnancy, one of the friends came up and was like, yo, that's actually my kid. So they start fighting and tussling or whatever. They do a DNA test. It ends up being the one of the guys do a DNA test, not the other one. One of the guy that originally thought that was his kid ends up doing a DNA test. It wasn't his kid. So
he goes on and lives his life.
He goes on, lives his life, becomes 43.
Years
later, they have a reunion. That daughter and her see him at the reunion. She wants to rekindle and like kind of see what the hell he's been up to, the mom, right? It ends up being where the daughter, the guy that he had tussled with back then, found out that also wasn't his kid after raising that kid.
Two men right there that wasn't the baby daddy.
The daughter has resentment towards the mom because she ended up losing that guy's family at like 12, 13 years old, and ends up sleeping with the 43-year-old to get back at the mom for her fucking basically ruining her childhood. And yeah, it's just to make a long story short.
Yeah, to make a long story short. And one of the conversations that we were having, or that I at least was asking, is like, what do you think about that on your end? Like, do you think that the choice of the daughter and was supposed to be the daddy, all right, sleeping together for the revenge of the mother, was that justifiable?
It's not justifiable. I think for the guy it was predatorial, and for the girl that was just trauma based. Yeah, trying to like hurt her mother as much as her mother hurt her.
Yeah.
And the real thing of it all is the mother was fucked up. Like, that's fucked up. You're sleeping around with different guys. You're telling one guy he's the father. He's not the father. Tells the other guy. The other guy raises the kid because you only said that you only slept with these two. Ends up raising the kid. They do another DNA test. He finds out that he's not the child's father after 12, 13 years. And then also the family just ghosted her. So it wasn't like, oh, okay, damn, sad case, you're still family. It was like, we have no reason to be around you anymore. So she, and then the actual father that it was had died. So she's really fucked. There's no like, no family relationships there, which is very traumatizing. But I think that been bullied for it. I think the dude was predatorial and the girl was just traumatized. Yeah, and just trying to get back at the mom, looking to be resentful towards the mother. And like, we were just thinking, like, this was someone that was very excited about having a child, which was that daughter, was about to raise her as his own, and like that would have just been a whole different story. But this is why I say, like, women are way more evil than men. They just are. There's just certain things that they could withhold and keep and not say and be deceitful, and just like they're able to lie about who's the father, who's not. PJ think he got kids out here, y'all, and he's one to talk. PJ wants to remind me every day I might have another kid out there. I don't know. There's been girls that be ready to trap me. She's one of them. Oh my God. She just wish she could have my kid. You're such a you're such a liar, bro. You gonna lie for the internet? You're gonna lie for the internet. You're gonna lie for Napster? You're gonna lie for the internet right now. You're gonna lie for Napster, bro? That's crazy. You keep time check good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. You're gonna lie for the internet. I'm not. Why? Why would I want to trap you? What gives, since I'm the liar here, right? And I'm trying to trap him? Because you think our babies will look good. That's an easy answer. Okay. You think our babies will look good.
So
you don't have any kids, and you just know I'm a good daddy.
You're a great father, but dealing with him as a baby daddy, nah.
Treacherous.
Nah, you're great.
I'm actually pretty cool.
Yeah. As long as the baby mama's good,
She trying to give me a time limit on when I'm supposed to give her
He got
one.
a time limit because time is taking baby, and I need a baby dad. I was like, no, I'm kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding. But you know what though? Baby fever does hit. But I can control that. Like, I'm not crazy enough, like a lot of people out here, to trap. Like, I know what he's been through, and I know what men go through, and I know what women go through, and I know how much they end up regretting it because many different reasons, but you know.
I think girls more than
just for the moment.
I think we always say like guys need to see therapists and we don't get to talk about our emotions and all this other stuff, but I think it's just as important for these females to go and seek therapy as well at an early age as well, because a lot of women are not growing up with morals and integrity and don't really get the process of how things work or whatever. I agree. And they're lost in logic, which I understand that women are not logically built innately, I guess you could say. And we're not emotionally built innately, so we need to start understanding those type of things, and we need to start like being able to outsource how to become better at the things that we lack or the things that like we're not genetically built with, right? You know what I'm saying? So this is why I think podcasts and all this other thing and like all the therapies that are going around and I think it's just a great thing because it's opening people's brains to tap more into these kind of things. Like I didn't understand feminine masculine energy till I was 29, 30 years old. You know, people weren't talking about this. There was no one to talk. I didn't even understand that there was two types of energies. You know, I just thought it was just man and female, and I didn't understand that every being or every soul possesses these two energies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a good conversation to start having, and you know, we got to start tapping into these things because motherfuckers is lost, man.
And you know what? I could definitely agree with you on that. I've seen it actually. I always say this, like I was very blind to how women were just as much as you were. Yeah. I didn't know that women were as crazy as they were, or like girls, let's say. I didn't know girls were just as crazy as they were when I used to find out, or people used to tell me like, yeah, this is what we be doing, or like it would be just the craziest things ever, and I would be like, what? Yeah. You did what? Like, and it was just like, what? And for you to say that is just like, we're fucked. Like we're actually fucked. I think what's
happened is the world has not found balance. And
there's no real guidance.
We went from two extremes. We went from an extreme of like super seclusion to being super open and super like free and super liberal. And it's just, we haven't found that in between, that balance where it's okay for women to exist, for men to exist, for gays to exist and all this other stuff, but appropriately. So we're not affecting the children, or at an early age we're seeking therapy and we're talking to you know, people who have more of an understanding for this world and how the world works and how the energy inside you works, right? I think when we get to that place of balance, the world will be a more beautiful place where we have places to seek and go, where there's not one extreme or the other. Because right now, the concept of feminism and the LGBTQ community are just way too extreme, and it's
where it's not making any sense.
Where it doesn't make sense, and it looks more of like a mental health problem. Yes. Right? But the empathy in me understands that they just want to have a place in society and not be judged and be able to live freely and be able to do what they like. But there has to be a balance. There has to be a thing where we could all agree on that this is life. Man and female is life. This is how we create life. We have to respect this balance.
Right.
And it is okay to be here, and it is okay to be here, but this is the medium to life. You know what I'm saying? So in that, the people that are drawing that medium of life still are able to go and seek out and understand and have an understanding and be able to talk to somebody about those extremes, or even themselves, or what's going on in them, if they feel like they're lacking excitement, or for instance, you said like you grew up a little bit more secluded. You wasn't really like, you didn't like, you were an introvert, like there wasn't a lot of friends around you and stuff like that. You probably had like one friend, like
a couple.
If you had something to outsource on how to be able to like cohabitate with your peers, right, and how to acquire friendships, and just like the etiquette of how to acquire friendships and what to do, it would help you navigate life a little bit better, so that way you can acquire that and know how to acquire that as an adult.
Yeah.
So now you've gone your whole life not really understanding how to like
put myself out there,
put yourself out there,
or
talk,
communicate
or
to people normally.
And so now you find yourself as an adult introverted, like extremely introverted, because you're not placed in those environments that you would normally be placed in, like school, college,
like that's
and all
all
those
done
other
with.
things. Right. So like now
back.
It's like, well, where do I go from here?
And then you are comfortable within your own space, so it's like it doesn't really bother you too much. But then you do sit back and think about like, damn, I want to do this with a friend, but it's like, shit.
I just think as humanity, as like all of us as a whole, we just need to outsource the things that we have no knowledge of. And there needs to be able to be people that we can go to get that information from, that have that experience, that have that understanding,
Yeah.
I just wish that we were at that point already in life. And
the biggest thing with it is that some people just do not learn. So like the lack of morals from men and women and integrity, it is really insane. And I think the important thing about it is that we need to find that guidance within the people who are raising us. If we do not have that, the morals and integrity doesn't really exist.
Right.
Most of the time. There's some people who can carry themselves very well. Like for you, for instance, like
sometimes, not all the time.
Like not all the time. Yeah. Sometimes like we all have a bad side of us that we don't want people to see, or that comes out that we don't like of ourselves, that we have to deal with, and like, I'm not saying you're perfect. You do have that side, as everyone in the world does. But in a lot of ways, I'm like, wow, like there's not people really built like that, who thinks that way, who has that type of morals, or the way that you just handle yourself in situations, or things that you would or wouldn't do, that no other guy is going to stand behind you and be like, me too, like like no one's going to like follow your lead in that way.
I think because what happens is, most people, I live the extremities of life. Like I went from like chaotic to like super peaceful to like, okay, where's my in between, where's my balance, where's my, like, I've strived to find balance, because being chaotic is too much, and then being too peaceful, I'm too gone. Right. So I'm like, I need to be able to find like,
too gone. I can feel
like
you.
I'm like, I don't even want to.
I don't want to work, make no money.
Nothing. Like,
if it ain't making me happy, like,
yeah. And then you like place happiness above everything, and next thing you know, you're vibrating at a good frequency, and you're able to live, and life is still happening for you, but you're like, where am I going? Like, what's happening right now? Like, why am I living like below my means?
Like,
and then
eating 1 meal a day, but you're fine.
Yeah, and then being super chaotic is like also like, what the hell is happening? Like, I can't get my life together. Like, it's just like the total opposite of that or whatever. But in both places is like, my life isn't together.
Yeah, but
right.
But there are people out there who have like a very strong mindset, is what I'm saying, and they still didn't have that guidance. And I was using you as that reference because you didn't have guidance like that. Like, you've had your brother, but he was only able to show you what he knows, or just so much. And I'm sure those things that you carry for yourself, maybe you didn't learn from him. Maybe you just hold on your own. And so that does exist.
Trial and error, like going through something and understanding, okay, like,
or what would you want to happen to you, or wouldn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, trial and error too.
Yeah.
Just life experiences and being able to reflect as well. But
yeah,
guidance is important.
I just think that society just needs, humanity just needs somewhere to go to be able to balance these things out, so that we're not hiding things that we think people would judge us off of. Like if we understood how to navigate ourselves first before navigating relationships, it would make things like that, like doing a porn video and then entering a relationship without telling that person, it would just make that conversation easier, because it's like I've been able to like navigate myself.
Face the mirror.
I'm okay with this thing that I've done.
Right.
It's who I am. It's why I've become the person I've become. So now if I go and share that and become vulnerable with someone that I'm taking serious, that I'm going to create a relationship with, if that person doesn't want me because of this one thing, or accept me because of this one thing, then I know that that person isn't the person for me. So now it's easier to navigate the person for you.
Right.
Right.
And the emotions get surpassed. They kind of just be like, I'm feeling this way, but I know my truth. And I know that, you know, whoever's out there for me will accept me for the flaws that I have, because this is my past. This is not who I am today.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think it just makes it easier. So
you're so right about that.
Yeah.
Like even you reverting back to like the whole porn video situation was just like,
I think being so young, you're afraid of judgment. You're afraid of, and that's just being young.
Yes.
You know, like you're like, we're all afraid of judgment. And when we're younger, we don't know how to take accountability for our actions. We put ourselves in positions where like, because you would judge, that person would judge you. Like her not telling him is because it's for a reason. She knew he would judge her, and maybe she wouldn't get the desired result. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it was just supposed to be that way, because 15 years later and 2 kids, yeah, maybe it was just supposed to be that way. But how much he would have loved to known that in the beginning, and how much you would have been able to appreciate him even more for him knowing and accepting you for that. And here you are 15 years later, 2 kids, and you're like, I just love this dude. This dude has held me down, even knowing all of my deepest and darkest secrets. He's been here for me. So gives you a little bit more of appreciation for the person.
But you know what? You were so right when you said maybe that was just how it was supposed to happen. That makes me think about us and like what we were talking about with my little story or whatever. I had to think about it like that too. And I just remember feeling kind of overwhelmed, and I was like, well, why did it happen like this? And I was this girl. Like I was this girl that was just like, or no, I didn't really think about it like that, honestly. But
later on,
I was this girl that was just like,
why didn't I say something?
Why didn't I? But I still understood why I didn't. But right. I'm just saying this to say that I do think it was just supposed to happen that way. Because if that was the case, we both know we probably wouldn't have made it to this point.
I would have looked at it a little bit differently, but it happened when it was supposed to happen.
And sometimes that's just how it is, and that's all I'm saying. Like sometimes, like it's
but
just
that
not
doesn't justify not saying something,
right? And it doesn't.
You know, that's why I said we need to all get to a point where we've navigated ourselves enough to be able to, you know, share that with the person that we're ready to get into a relationship with. So you can live freely, and not feel like you're hiding something, or like no, this person loves me for everything that I've been through and everything that I've told him and shared with him, and there's nothing that I like. That feeling of there's nothing that I couldn't tell my partner is a greater feeling than
I'm holding
50,
this back.
50 years later, 2 kids later, you're like, I just don't know if I should tell him. Or, you know, that feeling sucks.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about things that, so we know with relationships.
That's why I tell you about, hey, there might be a kid out there. I don't know.
He just be fucking talking.
It just might be. So if it ever comes up, hey, listen. This is just what it is. Daddy. Daddy.
I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. But say that, so with obviously relationships, sorry, I'm going into that a little oddly because I had like lost my train of thought. But within relationships, especially being so long, there's things that change. There's growth in relationships are with one another, right? We change within ourselves. So how would you say you would carry that if something changes within the person as an individual that they may not feel comfortable saying, but it's a sudden change within themselves?
Like what kind of change? Like, give me an example of what would change within the person that they wouldn't feel comfortable telling their partner. My booty got smaller.
No. Like,
the sex is no longer good.
It could be that. It could be like maybe they're going on this path that you've been along with them on and they no longer want that anymore, but it's like a big change that could change your whole life, maybe. Okay. Like career wise or something. Like, I don't know, just something where it's just like, this has changed in me and I think that my partner won't take this well, but it's just like a sudden change, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that like we were just discussing, it's important to communicate everything, right? Those changes that you're having, or those dramatic changes that you want to have, if it means you guys not being together, then that's just what it's supposed to be. If that person loves you enough, they'll let you go. You know what I'm saying? Unselflessly. Like, you got to go figure yourself out. It is what it is. Like, just, and that was your chapter. I think that it's important to always communicate, because what starts to happen is, because you feel like you can't communicate that to your person, you'll start to build resentment. And then resentment turns into, I don't love you anymore. Right? It's because you're not, you're basically justifying, you're stopping your growth for, you're withholding yourself because of how that person may react. And if that person truly loves you, then that person should allow you to outgrow the relationship, if that's the case. Because that's where like a lot of like arguments and things start to happen, is because one person is growing and the other person is staying the same, and they're growing in a way where they're heading a different direction and they no longer see that path anymore with that person. So now you're going to be fighting for that growth rather than just releasing yourself of it. So I think it's important you communicate the growth that's going to happen, because anything that requires you to like make a dramatic change just means it's a growing thing in you, So you got to go where the energy flows, man.
Even if it's like, I'm not attracted to my partner anymore type of change.
Even if it's not, I'm not attracted to you anymore. I think that I want to go and discover other people and see like where my, what my attractive, what I can attract. This is why rushing a marriage is kind of scary, because what marriage does is it locks you into a commitment where like you guys are going to grow, but you're going to grow together and you can't go nowhere else. You shouldn't, or you shouldn't seek outside of that. Right. So especially when you get married at like a younger age, because 9 out of 10 times one person is going to outgrow the other person. So this may be your person now, but may not be your person later. So now you're stuck in a contract with somebody, and you're ending up in a filthy divorce, rather than navigating yourself, understanding what you need, what you want, where you want to go, and then getting into a relationship, and then figuring out marriage, like at what's an appropriate time for marriage. Because the last thing you want to do is get into something, be in something long term, or that's 9 years, 10 years or whatever, and be like, I just don't think that this is the person for me anymore, because it's going to require a dramatic change, a dramatic lifestyle change, and it's not always easy, and then you're going to spend the majority of your life crying and pillows and all being emotional and having to navigate those emotions, which may be a good thing for you, because that's when you're in those things, that's like self-discovery. You're going to discover yourself at some point. You know what I'm saying? But boy, is it hard. You know, when you're in that process of self-discovery, there's a lot of crying. There's a lot of like, who am I? There's a lot of misdirection. There's a lot of, did I make the right decision? There's a lot of, you know, a lot of like self-talk that you're just like questioning, you know, just like human behavior pretty much. So it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, this is why it's important to know self before getting in a relationship, man, because once you set yourself on that journey, once you set yourself on that path, man, you got to know that it's not easy. It's not easy dealing with the other person, and then it's not going to be easy dealing with your own growth, you know, because you're going to question yourself a lot. So you just got to make sure that, you know, you in it for all the right reasons, you making good decisions. And if that relationship doesn't allow you to grow, then you know what you got to do.
Poetic justice.
Yeah.
Poetic justice.
You know,
if I told you that a flower. Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah. It sucks.
Jeez.
It sucks, but, you know, it's one of those things, man, where like,
I could hear you say this a million times, and sometimes it just hits differently one day. Again, even if I heard it a million times, it's like,
why, you feeling like
it's so deep.
You going in a different direction?
No, but what you're saying is just feels so like truthful. It sounds like, in a way, the right pill to take. Like, how can I explain it? It just seems like this is the direction we all need to follow for success. Like, this is the book. Like, this is the directions right here for all of us. I mean, if we followed this, we can all be successful when it comes to this. And that's just what it feels like. It just sounds like truth, and it resonates with me so much. That's why I'm just like,
yeah. But this is why when you enter a relationship too, you got to allow the person to just be their own individual and not control, man, and have them like, you know, or no, you got to be within the confines of these things, because these things are what's going to make us be what it's going to be. Like, no, you be you, I'm going to be me. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to work through it, communicate through it. I'm going to try to help you elevate as much as possible. I'm going to try to not have any bad intention behind why we're together, you know? And if at any point you feel like this relationship no longer serves you, be free, you know? Because we've discussed this, and it wouldn't be a surprise to not you or not to me, because we know, like, our thing is like, no, this is just, this person wants to be free. I love this person enough to allow them to just let them do what they need to do to figure out themselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you think about taking breaks in relationships? Like, being like, listen, one person be like, I need a break. We need time away. I'm going to stay here. You stay where you're at. I need to think. If that break's a week, a month, how long do you think a break should be, if you agree that breaks are acceptable in your relationship?
Same thing. I still feel the same way. I feel like if somebody needs a break to figure themselves out, you got to let them do.
Do you think that's okay? Do you don't call that like, no, just be single? Like, I just don't know, because if we're gonna break, then we don't need to be together.
Because your pattern or what you do shouldn't change. You should always be in self-discovery. You should always be looking to grow. You should be doing things that you're doing as a single person, like working out, going to the gym, finding peace, doing things in a peaceful manner. Those things should not stop just because you're in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You should always be heading in that direction. So if a person needs that space in order to get to that point for themselves, you just got to allow the person, like,
or even just like unpeaceful, like the relationship's becoming a little unpeaceful. You just need that time.
Like, for me, I trust that I made a good decision with the partner that I picked, that they wouldn't do nothing outside of the relationship, like cheat or do something
on
like
the
that.
break.
Yeah.
In general.
If you do, I trust that we've had enough conversation for you to be able to be accountable about whatever you do on that break. And you would allow me to make my own decision on whether I still want to be with you or not. Right? So you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. You're an adult, but I'm also allowed to make whatever decision I want to make based off of the relationship, based off of whatever you've done. Like, just because I love you doesn't mean I have to be with you. And just because you love me doesn't mean that you have to be with me. And just because we love each other doesn't mean we have to be in a relationship. You understand? So, like, if you feel like that was something you needed to do for you to make you feel better, for you to discover yourself, cool. That's what you just got to do. But for me, I'm going to deal with those emotions and however that made me feel. But I don't have to forgive you just because you were on your own self-discovery.
Does the thought of that person no longer loving you anymore scare you in a way? For example, like, I think if me and you weren't to be together anymore, and obviously that would hurt, right? I love you. I care about you. I want to be with you. Obviously something didn't work. I think in my head or in my mind, I would think like, does he love me still? Or does he still care about me? After years later, I'll be like, does he still have this emotional feeling or like not attachment, but like this type of like soft spot for me still, you know what I mean? Of love there.
Yeah.
Do you ever think like that or would think like that? Because I think for me, I could say I
think
would.
Through experience, I understand how you can still care for somebody but not love them at all. And that
stop loving me.
Yeah, love eventually stops. That feeling stops.
I think I
but
could
like
love
if
you
something
forever.
were to happen to you, I'd be like, dang, no, like it would emotionally affect me in a way.
Kind of like that soft spot.
Yeah, where dang, I at one point in life I had something with this person, and it was beautiful, and that was cool, and I just hope the best for her. And if something were to happen, I'd be sad about it, but I wouldn't be like with my new person. Something happened to her. I have to go see what's going on.
Fuck you.
I'm just gonna be like, like she was a great person.
Would you ever get afraid of like the thought of fuck? That didn't come out clearly.
It's all right.
Babe, but wait. No, wait.
Let's just end it right here.
No, wait. Let me just, because the question was, wait.
No,
because it's good. Wait,
no.
I want the answer. Wait, I want the answer. Wait. Are you ever afraid of them no longer loving you anymore? Babe, stop, please. Stop. How much time I got? We can make it work. How much time?
1 minute and 51 seconds.
All right.
Calm down, though.
All right. I literally ran out of breath. I'm like running out of breath. I'm trying not to fuck up here.